Watching the news? Feeling confused? Yeah. Well, today we're going to discuss 5 factors that reveal exactly where the market is headed. So come on, check it out with me. Hi, my name's Peggy Durstoff, and welcome back to my channel. I'm a realtor with HomeSmart here in the Denver metro area, and I specialize in suburban living. And today we're discussing the 5 factors which will tell us where is this real estate market really headed. Number 1, rock bottom mortgage rates to gradually rise. Now, these low mortgage rates that we've all been seeing here have really fueled demand from buyers. And some experts are predicting that they will gradually rise, but they'll still stay at historic lows. However, back in June, the Federal Reserve signaled that they may institute 2 rate hikes as soon as 2023, which could then lead to an uptick in mortgage rates. And we've seen some of this. Back in 2020, the average interest rate was about 2.8%. Moving into 2021, the average interest rate was closer to somewhere between 3 and 3.5. And now experts believe it might be closer to 4.2 come 2022. So what does this mean for you? Well, you've probably heard the old saying, strike while the iron's hot, and that definitely applies when we're talking about mortgage rates. So with these rates still right now, as I film this in September of 2021, historically low, we haven't really seen anything rise too much. If you're thinking about buying, this might be a great time to go ahead and get that mortgage, or if you're already a homeowner, perhaps refinance into a lower rate. Number 2, home prices are expected to keep rising. I just read an article where they talked about this fall being a pretty brisk fall. And one of the reasons is, again, it goes back to the supply and demand. We just don't have the supply. I'll give you an example here. In June of 2021, here in the Denver metro area, new listings were up 6.4%. That was great. We were thinking, wow, this is good. We're going to get more homes on the market. This will be wonderful. However, in July, new listings went down 3.4%. So again, we're not quite getting the numbers we need. Add to that the fact that new home builders are struggling with supply issues. Can they get the wood they need? Can they get the drywall they need? They also need the vendors, the skilled labor, to be able to do the job of putting the home up. So they've slowed down a little bit, even though we are seeing more new home builds going on, especially here in the Denver metro area, in areas like Parker and Littleton, and even up north. We're seeing a lot of new home build communities, but it's taking a little bit longer because of some of these challenges. And this keeps pressure on house prices, rising them because of, again, a lack and a high demand. Now, this might be great news if you're a homeowner. However, as a home buyer, we have to be aware that for first-time home buyers, they're having a hard time saving up enough for down payment, for closing costs, for reserves. And if these home prices keep going up like they expect toward the end here of 2021, that could push prospective buyers out of the market in several areas. And as a homeowner, that could also slow home price growth. So what does this mean for you? Well, as a home buyer sitting on the sidelines waiting for prices to drop, you might want to reconsider. Because while home price appreciation might start to taper off, home prices are continuing to climb. And if we add to that rising mortgage rates, it's going to make home buying even more expensive. Number 3, single-family home sales remain robust. However, they are dropping off. And this is again because of a lack of inventory. So we saw here in June, listings closed or sales were up 5.8%. But here in July, they were down a whopping 15%. By the way, if you want any of my free reports, go down below and grab them. They're for the Denver metro area, and they cover the 11 cities around Denver so that you're in the know. So this pattern that we're seeing of home sales decreasing due to high demand, high prices, and a lack of inventory. However, I'm hearing that we should have a brisk fall sales selling season. Try saying that fast. Anyway, and Fannie Mae has reported that they expect an uptick in these sales this fall to the tune of maybe a 3.8% increase year over year. We'll just have to wait and see if that's true for the Denver metro area as well. And number 4, a lack of inventory is still constricting our home market. You know, I just went to a Labor Day picnic party, and one of the questions I got repeatedly was, what's the market doing? And I kept telling people, because people keep thinking there's going to be a crash around the corner. And the reality is, it goes back to supply and demand. We really need a 5 to 7 month supply of homes for sale for us to have what we call equilibrium. Not a buyer's market, not a seller's market. Right? Currently nationwide, we're at 2.5 months supply. And here in the Denver area, oh my gosh, in the Denver metro area, we're at a whopping 3-week supply. 3 weeks. This lack of inventory contributes to tougher searches for the buyers and contributes to rising home prices. What does this mean for you? Well, if you've been thinking about making that move, now might be the time to take the equity out of your home and go ahead and get the house you've always wanted. Across the country, it's a seller's market that puts you in the driver's seat, allowing you to negotiate the best deal for yourself and your family. And lastly, we have number 5 of where is the real estate market heading. Construction of single-family housing has seen a slight uptick. Now this is good news. For all the challenges that builders are having, they're building because the demand is there. So they are building houses. We're seeing this throughout the Denver metro area. And one of the reasons there's been this uptick in building is the fact that lumber prices have come down. And I think as the economy starts to settle in, as things go back to maybe a new normal, we'll start to see supply chains increase. It'll be easier to get materials, and builders will be able to continue building. Now, what does this mean for you? Well, if you're a buyer, new home builders are still having some issues, so you might want to widen your search to both resale and new build. This way you're sure to come upon the right home, maybe even quicker than you thought. And there's options for you, a home seller, to maybe move into a newer home where it might be easier, maybe lower maintenance for you compared to the home you're in right now. If I can be of any help, please feel free to connect with me. I love hearing from you, and I love brainstorming with buyers and sellers about the market and what they can be doing. In the meantime, go ahead and check out this video over here where I talk about how to buy and sell a home at the same time. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next week.